So, kind of in that theme of alternate reality, the title track, Punisher, gets way out into the alternate reality. This is kind of a fantasy where Phoebe meets her influence, Elliott Smith. Is that what
that is correct? As far as anybody knows, anyways. She is very influenced by Elliott Smith.
So Elliott Smith must have a Snow White song. What's that reference?
I don't honestly know. This is like the song where I'm like, kind of as you alluded, like I love Elliott Smith, and I agree completely that sometimes it's like, wow, that's heavy. This is heavy, especially no pun intended, knowing the end of
that.
Like,
that's the thing.
Oh man, it's still like, ugh. But like, there's also like a strange like 6 degrees of separation here, where like one of the tour managers that went with us on Trail of Dead tours was like a former girlfriend of Elliott Smith, which was it's also like a weird thing. So I've also like, it's almost like because I know her, I'm also like, I never like dove into this one. I don't know. It's probably a completely irrational way to be, but I thought that Snow White was his actual partner that he was with. So I don't know if it's a song reference. It probably is. Somebody will watch this and be like, "Oh, you idiots! It's absolutely a Snow White thing." But it seems like whatever. I think from what I had read, the little bits that I had read, like, there was in fact his house like close to where she was, and like the idea of like walking past it, like you would see it, and it was this kind of weird like a weird thing, but the majority of this is in fact just like a dreamed, like you and I got to meet and even maybe had a relationship, and it's actually better that never happened because, well, for many reasons, but but it's definitely like, this is another one where like there's certain lines that are like, everyone knows you're the way to my heart. And I hear so many stories of you at the bar. That one, I'll really like that. Like the idea of sitting somewhere where somebody that you admire that much has been, and like kind of like soaking that up is like,
definitely.
That's like it's a thing. Definitely. I mean, I think, we all kind of romanticize what our musical, sports, artistic, political, whatever heroes are actually like. And, they're probably not like that to a great degree, but like sometimes you get lucky and they're exactly like you dream them up.
Right. Oh yeah. There's some mysterious lines like, but from the window, it's not a bad show if your favorite thing is Dianetics or stucco. I'm trying to, and then I was like, Dianetics, what is that? And then I remembered like my entire childhood, like every commercial was like, L. Ron Hubbard, Dianetics. Yes. And there's like a volcano on the cover. I'm like, okay. Yeah. So that part I got, but then the stucco, I don't know. It's some mysterious.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the house maybe is made of stucco. It's one of those like
the Snow White house.
Yeah, I guess is like a weird. Is that weird? Like, I envision it because of my short time in Florida. I envision it as like that outside of like a Florida house, like stucco, where it's it's like kind of weird, and like, why did they ever make houses out of that?
Right.
Like, why is that a thing? Why is that a building material exactly? Did they just cover it in concrete and call it a day? I don't know. I also enjoy the alliteration in and the line, I swear I'm not angry, that's just my face. I love that. Followed with a copycat killer with a chemical cut.
Right. That's wicked. It's a great line. And the line about the face, man, you talk about references to the time. Yes. That is so the time. Like, you remember, 2020 was totally that year. Like, I remember the Captain Marvel movie was coming out, like, probably 2019. Like, why isn't she smiling? Yes. Why doesn't she smile? There's that whole thing of, like, oh, come on, girl, just smile.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And, you know, Phoebe's obviously dealt with that shit.
You know it. Yeah. It's like, why can't you just write happy songs? Like,
yeah, it's like, no, this is just my face.
It's just my face.
It's okay. You don't have to police my emotions.
Right, I'm not really mad at you. It's fine.
Yeah. But anyway, I feel your pain.
I also have a love for songs that end when they say they're going to end, and I love this song for saying I wouldn't know where to start, wouldn't know when to stop, and when it stops, it actually stops. It's just a thing. I don't know why. It's such a like elementary thing musically, but it works, and it also like I just love when it's like wouldn't know when to stop, and it's like we're done.
Oh gosh! I mean, anytime an artist can stop, it's an achievement. Yeah. I mean, you know, anything can beat the fade out.
Yeah, and I think it's also worth noting that I think she is really good, and this record is really good at like not drawing it out. Like it's a quick listen. Like when you listen to it, like, and I love that. Like Nico Case, I feel like does that a lot, where it's like the song is almost like it's only as long as the idea ever was. Like there is no like. You know, you can fall into that trap of like, we're going to add strings, we're going to add glockenspiel, and we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and we're going to add all these things, we're going to have a 10-minute interlude. And it's like, or you could just give me literally the idea, and then we'll put one extra guitar on there and call it a day. And like...
And thank goodness.
Right.
Because... You know, we both came up in the 90s when, you know, the mentality was the exact opposite. Like, wow, 80 minutes fits on this CD. Let's fill the whole fucking thing up, you know. So you have all these Tool albums that, you know, it's going to take me a year and a half to listen to this.
Then that's 3 tracks.
Yeah. But, I mean, we totally lost sight of that, what you were just talking about, because when you go back to the classic albums, you go back to, like, those Beatles records or you know, early whatever, and the shit's like 33 minutes long, 34 minutes long. You go to that first Ramones album, it's not even 30 minutes long. I mean, you can... Yeah, we lost track of concise storytelling.
And I think a lot of people, like... You know, they conflate that with like, oh, that's a punk rock thing or that's a whatever thing. It's like, no, like people of all sorts, yes, because of the format constraints partially, but like even before, people were like, just like, you know, Bob Dylan could write a 30-minute no chorus 52 verse song, but he could also turn around and turn out, you know, a relatively short, sweet, just boom, ditty. And like, they would both be like equally as powerful. Like, you're just like, wow, where did, you know, isn't this the same guy that wrote Hurricane? You're like, oh my God. Like, does this song ever end?
But no, I mean, no, but Punisher is so digestible. Yeah. I mean, I think out of all the things that we've listened to, this was probably the easiest.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's breezy, and every track just like carries you to the next one. And there was never like a track that I dreaded.
No.
You know?
No.
Like it's all pretty strong. It's a well thought out production. Right. And oh my gosh, you know what's next? Halloween. This is a great one.
And another great use of that rubber bridge guitar. Like when you hear that, like just dead. Like nothing's harsh about the tone of it. It's just it sits, but it sounds off, and it's so perfect.
And short dead notes. Yeah, a lot of that. That's really cool. That's a really cool thing. And this is the one, you know, like I can't open up my gatefold to see who's on what thing, but I mean I hear Connor Oberst.
He is definitely singing with her on that. I should have written all these down.
And this one, I don't feel like maybe this one is the most surface one to me, because it's you know, hey, it's Halloween, you can be anything you want,
right?
And I mean that's all you need to say,
right?
That's a great. I mean, you know, to this day I love it.
Oh, this is one of the interesting ones because Jim Keltner, studio great. Jim Keltner plays drums on this one.
Drum legend.
I'm trying to think who else. Let's see. Ethan Gruska, who is, I believe, Yeah, he does like a lot of guitar stuff. Sound design is what he's credited for on this, which could probably mean just about anything. But he's playing like octagon, flute, piano, all kind of keyboard madness. Yeah. Christian Lee Hudson is playing baritone on this. There's a lot of baritone on this too, which kind of takes the place of just the normal range of a bass. Like, I feel like it frees up the bass to be in another spot, which is really cool. Yeah. She's always used baritone a lot. She used baritone a lot on Stranger in the Alps as well. But yeah, I feel like this one is another one of those, like, it could almost be a dream. And I know I've heard her remark that the line, because people asked her about this, they killed a fan down by the stadium, was only visiting, they beat him to death. It's not real. Like, she's okay. Like, yeah, that never happened. Like, I just came up with that, like, as like a part of the story of the song. But people were like, did that really happen? Like, does that happen all the time in LA? And she's like, I mean, maybe, but I don't know about it. But yeah, like, there's some things in here that are like, it's got more of her lovely humor. Like, I used to joke that if they woke you up, somebody better be dying. Talking about the sirens going into the hospital. And I think this is also one of the ones where it was like, this record comes out in the middle of COVID again, and there are some references to like hospital type things that I think were a little bit, she was like,
and mask.
Like about it, and like, but I think again, because of the whole picture, it was a little bit less like, oh yeah, that's a bad thing. But yeah, I think it is. I think you're right. I think it's a lot more. It's another very short and sweet. Like, it's just seems like it's just the idea of the story, the lyric, the melody. There's very little window dressing, and then we're out. Yeah. You know. And it has that this great image, which is the ghost from Stranger in the Alps album cover.
Oh yeah,
he's floating around in there, which is literally just. It's a picture of her that has a ghost. It's like somebody painted a ghost over the top of her.
Do you have any insight on where she got her skeleton onesie?
No, although I do have. My wife and I also have skeleton onesies for.
Oh man, why are you wearing it?
No, I should have. Right when you said that, I was like, "What have I done?
Why are you wearing?
What have I done?" For Halloween, cheap Halloween costume ideas. So it's an easy way to take the kids trick-or-treating in like skeleton PJs.
Yes.
But yes, I should have worn those. Instead, I have Sonic Youth, Statler, and Waldorf.
Hey, that suits us. That's the tune. So, coming up next is one of my favorite, probably my favorite track on Sidewalk.
It's so
Chinese
good.
Satellite.
So good.
It's musically it's very rich, and it's got a lot of great lyrics. I'm not super clear on the meaning, but that doesn't matter.
Right.
That's the great thing about it'll give me something to dig and to search for and to try to unravel.
Right.
And then really cool art.
Yep.
Beam me up.
Getting zapped up by the tractor beam.
So yeah, there's some fine lines in here, and you were screaming at the evangelicals, and they were screaming right back. From what I remember, when you said, "I will never be your vegetable."
Yeah.
And I think when you're gone forever, but I'd know I'd stand on a corner, embarrassed with a picket sign, if I meant I would see you when I die.
Yeah.
That's some heavy shit.
So I think obviously you're supposed to take from that somebody this person is involved with was protesting something, and they were being protested back, whatever. And
right.
Obviously the narrator, whether it's actually Phoebe or not, is like, I would I would take I would take the opposite stance of you if I knew that I would see you when I died. which is like awkwardly admirable as like a love statement, and also like weird and like sort of like not okay at all.
Yeah. It's
like, yeah, I would totally fake like I believed something that I absolutely do not believe if it meant that I could see you when I died. But I actually don't think that at all. So here we are. But that's another one of those.
Right, yeah.
That's another one of those stories. You know, one of those sort of like complex emotional moments. That's like, she's so good at giving you that, and giving you that, and sort of, again, it's that Coen brothers sort of humor in the face of something that's not very funny at all. Like, I mean, when you're protesting something, you're probably not thinking like, yay, this is like silly. I know whenever I've gone to a protest of anything, I've never been like, man, this is
half-hearted.
like, yay, let's
like,
dance
I
party.
believe this.
I mean, maybe I should protest like that more often. I'd be more into it, but whatever. But I think, generally it's because you're not fired up about something.
Right. Just like a half-hearted, like half-committed.
Yeah.
So what? Help me understand the nomenclature. Chinese satellite, is that just kind of is that the weather balloon of our times? Like, that wasn't a UFO. That was a Chinese satellite. I think
you have that sort of sonic cue in the song of the beeps going by, which is sort of like, in a weird way, is like also like hearkening back to like Sputnik days, which is well beyond my time. But I think, I took a tour to see the stars, but they weren't out. So then I just wished hard on a Chinese satellite. Like, I took what I could get.
Yeah.
That was the best that I could do, was that thing. And then, at the end, I also love, there's one of the lines, sometimes when I can't sleep, it's just a matter of time before I'm hearing things. Swore I could feel you through the walls, but that's impossible. Like, it's like just wanting to be with somebody so bad, and you can't, and you can't, and you can't tell whether it's because maybe they are no longer with us, maybe they've gone on, maybe that's why in the end the narrator is wanting to believe that they can go outside and get sucked up by a tractor beam that'll take you to wherever that person's from. But I also feel like she's probably an X-Files fan, and I want to believe is sort of a reference to the poster in Mulder's office.
Yeah. And that's the line I was trying to draw.
Yeah, like, I totally feel like that's
just based on the illustration. Like, that's a cool spaceship. Right. It's got this. I don't know if you're familiar with the comic book artist Mobius.
Yes.
That guy. So we flip the record if you've got the record. Are we both working with records?
We are.
This release. Yeah. Okay. So good.
Flip it up. Moon Song.
Flip it. Moon Song. This one, what's this? Oh gosh, this one's interesting.
Speaking of complexities.
Yeah. This was the one where
there's some good lines. There's such good lines in this.
Right. Let's just jump into them. Okay. You first.
I mean, you can't go any further than say, we hate Tears in Heaven, but it's sad that his baby died.
That's it. That is you've talked about the Coen brothers' black humor, and that's about as black as it gets.
Because it's...
Yeah, I mean, I relate. I mean, you and I we both probably made fun of Tears in Heaven back in the day.
Yeah, too much, probably. I mean, and...
So schmaltzy and. But yeah, when you really like, think about
Right.
it. Think about what inspired that song. Like, God, it's
Oh,
heartbreaking.
it's terrible. It's
Correct.
terrible. But it's also like she is, from anything, if you read and or watch anything with her, like she is unapologetic about her, like her viewpoint on anything, as she should be. But like that would be something that she'd be like, yeah, that song is, I can't stand it. But I do actually think it's sad. But I still hate that song. And I think it's, I mean, for me and for us, I mean, that was like a song that was everywhere. Like Tears in Heaven, you could not turn on MTV without seeing that video 5 times a day. It was like,
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised that it's not on like whatever list they make every 5 years about like most played songs in the history of like whatever. Like it feels like it was like you couldn't turn the dial on the radio and not hear it. You couldn't turn on the TV and not hear it.
So yeah, that oversaturation diminished the emotional impact, and that's what probably made us snarky motherfuckers.
And I think that's partially what I mean. That's about like that's sort of the opposite of the songwriting you're witnessing here. I'm not trying to diminish whatever about Eric Clapton, but like that's a very upfront, raw, emotional boom. This is how it feels. This is the sentiment I want to portray. There it is. And then she's using that in a song, and she's saying that she doesn't like that in a song that is full of quite the opposite, where it's like it's really murky to try and figure out like what are we talking about here, which I think is also genius. Like, I mean, even the next line about John Lennon, it's like we fought about John Lennon. Like, I've probably had a few of those fights.
Yeah. I mean, and like the last line, and you're sick and you're married and you might be dying, but you're holding me like water in your hands.
I know that she was, throughout the writing of this record, actually in the process of breaking up from the guy that is her drummer. Marshall Vore, I believe his name is. And they like still play together and still write songs together. But I know that their relationship was coming to an end during all of this. And so I think a lot of these are like, it could be about like somebody else that she was with at the time. I mean, it could be about anybody. I don't know. This is one of those that I've always just been like, I'm totally okay with it being about whatever.